Welcome to VILLEGAS Patterns. In this sewing tutorial, I will show you step by step how to make your own cherry cross skirt. This long skirt is designed to sit nicely on your waist and has a cool detail with this deep waistband. The standout feature of this pattern is the pleats that give the skirt a really eye-catching look. The skirt also has a stylish slit in the front. This means you can wear it for all sorts of occasions, whether it's during the day or when you are out at night. Originally, the skirt was made with warm Italian summers in mind, so it's made of linen for comfort, but you can choose any fabric you like to make it your own. The cherry cross skirt is available as a downloadable product and it comes in different sizes, from 30, 40, 46 EU sizes and 2 to 14 American sizes. The pattern can be printed on regular A4 paper or US letter paper. Click the link on the description below to download the pattern and sewing instructions. For my sewing sample, I will use red linen. This light fabric is perfect for the summer. It's also very sheer, but I'm not sewing a lining underneath because I want it to stay breezy. I recommend using a lightweight fabric for this project as well, such as rayon or cotton. To stabilize the facings, I will use this white interfacing. Reinforcing the facing is key to keeping the shape of your garments. This is a non-woven interfacing and it's very soft. You will also need an invisible zipper. It must be 25 cm long. To reinforce the waistband and the slip opening, I will use interfacing tape in a 1 and 2 cm width. I will leave a link in the description where you can buy it in the United States. First, print the first skirt page and measure the control box placed at the top of the page. The box must be 5 x 5 cm or 2 x 2 inches. If the measurements are correct, you can print the remaining pages of the pattern. Refer to your sewing manual for more information on the printer settings. All pattern pieces are placed in a light gray box and are connected to other pages by alphabetical or numerical characters placed along the gray box. You can type all pages together horizontally using the alphabetical characters, and later tape the top pages to the bottom pages using the numeric characters. All pattern pieces include seam allowances, as indicated by the black dashed lines. On the inside of the pages, cut along the gray box with the characters on it. Now I'm going to cut all the pattern pieces. As you can see, this is one pattern piece because the seam allowance is ended here, and this is another pattern piece. Remember, the back piece has to be cut on fold, which is why it has no seam allowance on the center back seam. Now I'm going to tape the top to the bottom pattern pages using the numeric characters. These are all pattern pieces, the front and front side, the back and back side, the facing front, pleats and facing back. Each pattern piece has important information such as the pattern name, size, piece name, and the number of pieces you need to cut from each fabric. The facing front piece must be cut on fold, so there is no seam allowance at the center front. All pattern pieces also have notches to mark the corresponding seam allowance and helpful information. I also wanted to show you the facing back piece. This piece must be cut twice because of the center back seam. The center back seam has a notch to avoid confusion. The pleats piece also needs to be cut twice, but doesn't necessarily need interfacing. All pattern pieces also have a grain line that must be aligned with the lengthwise grain. There are notches in the pleats pattern for constructing the pleats. The front and front side pieces must be cut once. The front side piece also have a notch for the visible zipper and a notch to mark the slip opening. Feel free to choose the length of the slit opening after trying on the skirt. As I say, the back piece needs to be cut on fold. The left back piece also have a notch for the zipper. To identify the back pieces, they have double notches along the seam allowance. After pressing your fabric, place it right side up. Fold your fabric to continue cutting the back side pieces twice. This way, you will also have a fold for the back piece. We will start by placing the back piece directly on the fold. Pin the back and back side piece in place, making sure the grain lines are aligned. Start cutting out these two pieces, remembering to mark all the notches. Next, place the front piece on the right side of the fabric and pin it in place. Proceed to place the front side piece. Remember that these pieces must be cut once. Marking the notches is a very important step. Look in detail at each pattern piece to make sure you don't forget a notch. I like to snip in the center back seam of my back piece just to know exactly where the center is and to match that notch with the facing back seam. The next thing I recommend to mark is the right side of each pattern piece to avoid further confusion. Now it's time to cut the remaining pattern pieces, the pleats and facings. As I said, the front facing needs to be cut on fold, and we also need to reinforce this piece with interfacing, just like the back facing. To do this, fold your fabric with the right side inside and cut the right amount of fabric to be able to press the interfacing onto it before cutting out the pieces. Now, cut the same amount of interfacing by placing the fabric on top. Go to your ironing board and press the interfacing onto the left side of the fabric. The glue dots must melt onto the surface. Fold your stabilized fabric right side up and place the facing front directly on the fold. Align the facing back with the grain line. Snip also here in the center front. With the remaining fabric, we need to cut the last pattern piece, the pleats. Don't forget to mark the notches. To reinforce the seams and prevent them from stretching, I will use interfacing tape. I will use the 1 cm wide interfacing tape to reinforce the waistline, and the 2 cm wide interfacing tape to reinforce the left side seam. Remember that we mark the right side of the pieces with a pin. Now turn the front piece to the left and reinforce the waistline with the 1 cm interfacing tape. Once the tape is pressed, also reinforce the front seam from the waistline until 2 cm below the slip opening. Turn the front side piece to the left and continue to reinforce the waistline and the slit opening. On the left side seam, we will be sewing our invisible zipper. So, this seam must be reinforced with the 2 cm interfacing tape. Press the tape from the waistline until 2 cm below the zipper notch. Now, it's time to reinforce the back side panels. Place them on the table with the right side facing up. The left side piece is where our invisible zipper will be sewn. We will start with this piece to avoid confusion. Turn the left back piece to the wrong side and press the 2 cm tape on the side seam. Then, reinforce the waistline with a 1 cm interfacing tape. Now, take the remaining backside piece, turn it to the left and press the 1 cm interfacing tape just on the waistline. Continue to press the 1 cm interfacing to the waistline on the back piece. The last pieces that must be reinforced are the pleats. We need to reinforce them at the top and bottom seam to avoid stretching. First, we can begin to mark the pleats on the right side of the fabric by connecting the notches. I prefer to show this step on paper to make it more visual. Now, you need to join the center front notches to the side seam notches by connecting them with lines. The center front notches are 0.5 cm wide, while at the side seam they are 1 cm wide. I will only draw a few pleats. To fold the pleats, place the first line on the second line. Then the third line on the fourth line, and so on. This is the final result. Now we can do the same on the fabric. Place a piece of paper underneath to prevent the fabric from moving. You can use a chalk or an erasable pencil to draw your pleats. Go to your ironing board and press the pleats. This will be the most time-consuming step, but you can also skip the pleats by cutting the front interfacing twice and replacing the pleats with a facing. Make a sewing test to adjust the thread tension. Then, edge stitch each pleat to prevent them from opening, or simply skip this step. Finish this step by pressing the pleats flat. Now it's time to overlock all vertical seams. You will need to search the facing side seams and the center back seam. On the pleats, center front seam and side seams. On the front pieces, the side seam and the slit. On the back pieces, the side seams and the vertical seams. When serging, Always place the right side of a garment facing up. Finish by pressing the pieces flat. With the right sides together, pin the pleat pieces at the center front seam. Pin the back facing at the center back seam as well. Remember, you have a notch to mark the center back. Next, place the front piece right side up and continue to close the front seam by placing the front side piece on top. Remember the notch that marks the slit opening? You must stitch these pieces from the waistline until that notch. It's actually the first notch you will find. Close the back seams at the back pieces. Remember to align the double notches along the seam allowance. Place the pieces right to right and pin in place. You will need to stitch all these shown seams with a 1 cm seam allowance. Press all seams flat, then press them open. The next step is to attach the pleats to the front of the skirt. The pleats have a notch on the top seam that indicates the waistline. Attach the pleats to the skirt at the bottom seam, the side with any notches. Align the pleat center front with the skirt center front. Stitch this seam with 1 cm seam allowance. Snip in the center front to avoid any bulk. Then overlock this seam. Press the seam flat and then upwards. Now we are ready to close the side seams. Place the back panel with the right side facing up, then place the front panel on the top. Pin the right side seam from the top to the hem. Pin the left side seam from the zipper notch to the hem. Stitch the side seams with a 2 cm seam allowance. I just have noticed that I didn't stitch on the interfacing tape, so I need to open about 2.5 centimeters and press the tape all the way to the waistline. The only purpose of the interfacing on the side seam is to secure it before sewing in the zipper. If this has happened to you, please improve. Now we can re-stitch the side seam all the way to the zipper notch. Press the side seams flat and then open. Press the zipper as well. To attach the zipper, we need to make a mark on the right side of the fabric. This mark will help us to position the zipper perfectly. The mark must be made 0.8 centimeters from the outer edge. Use an erasable pencil or chalk to mark the front and back side seam. Place the zipper on the back side seam with the right side facing down. The outer edge of the zipper should be placed directly over the 0.8 centimeters mark. Also remember, the top stop must be placed 1 centimeter below the skirt waistline. Continue to pin the tape in place. Place the presser foot on the zipper so that the spiral or zipper teeth is in the notch of the special presser foot, and sewing from the top edge to the marked end of the zipper at both sides. Use an invisible presser foot to sew in your zipper. Place the other side of the tape on the front side seam and sew the zipper in place. Then, push the slider to the right side and close the zipper. Finish this step by pressing the zipper flat. In my case, the zipper is way too long, so I will shorten it to 2.5 cm and cover the end with fabric. Yours should have the correct length. Now it's time to try your skirt on and mark the desired length with pins. Leave 4 cm below the pins to make the hem and cut off the rest of the fabric. The next step is to join the facing front and back together. Place the front facing with the right side facing up and the facing back on top. Pin both pieces together at the right side seam. Close this seam with a 2 cm seam allowance. Press and overlock the underseam. Continue by making a mark 1.5 cm from the side seam on the right side of the facing. Place the 1.5 cm line directly over the skirt side seam. Place the right side of the facing on the right side of the skirt and pin in place. This gives the facing a 1.5 cm overlap. Now, you need to stitch the facing to the skirt side seam as close to the zipper teeth as possible. I do it about 0.5 centimeters. Now press the facing flat. To close the waist, fold the side seams, leaving the zipper teeth in the fold. Pin the facing to the waistline of the skirt and stitch this seam with a 1 cm seam allowance. To prevent the facing from sticking out, you will need to edge stitch the seams to the facing. You can also reduce the seam allowance on the left side seams to avoid any bulk. Now turn the skirt to the right and press the waistline flat. You can also hide the facing edges and make a few hand stitches to hold it in place. The next step is to finish the hem. To do this, fold the hem 2 times 2 cm to the left and press. Another way to fold the hem is to mark 4 cm from the hem line and press. This makes the process way faster. Now the hem needs to be finished. This step is done from the left side. Edge stitch all the way around the hem. To finish our sewing project, we need to fold the 1 cm seam allowance at the slip opening to the left. Once the seam allowance is pressed to the left side, top stitch the seam allowance 0.5 cm from the other edges. I use my presser foot as a guide because it's exactly 0.5 cm wide. At the beginning of the slit, I like to go back and forth twice to give the seam more support. I also want my facing to stay in place, so I will make a few hand stitches to join the skirt to the facing. Make sure you only stitch in the seam allowance and not on the right side of the skirt. The facing needs to have some room to move, therefore you will need to make a shank. Finally, press your beautiful skirt. For linen, I spray some water on the surface and press. And this is how the finished cherry cross skirts looks like. Thank you very much and bye!